Hello and welcome to a very foggy Lime Rock Park here for round number 7 of Season 3 of the iRacing Israel League. Dane Baird here with Samuli Kumo behind the scenes and Mr. Peter Mackay joining me in the commentary booth. Peter, welcome. We're starting up again after a 3-week break in these Porsche Cup cars, and I'm really looking forward to this.
As am I, yes. This is very familiar weather to me here in Scotland. I was at my local track, Knockhill Racing Circuit, and when I arrived yesterday morning, the weather was just like this. So, although this is across the pond in the northeast of America, not far from the Canadian border here at Lime Rock Park, some very familiar weather for me. So, if you're ever needing some help to see the cars through the fog, I've got a keen eye for it here.
Absolutely. Qualifying is about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes out of 10. And the drivers are setting their laps. Pretty quick lap here at Lime Rock Park, as you can see, a 49.6 currently the time to beat from Shalva Koteshvili in the 94 car. With a couple of race wins to his name, and there was a bit of airtime for Ruben Chachashvili in the 42 Porsche Cup car as they come around skipping all of the chicanes here. Today they're using the classic layout, and that is definitely a jump in these cars with a lot of horsepower to them and not a lot of aero or downforce, so they really do get some airtime, and that's going to be very interesting. The drivers are going to have to really be on it, and Chachashvili improves on his lap time but isn't enough for pole position. Here's Amimesh Shlam, the league organizer, on board for a lap. Peter, why don't you take us through?
Okay, so we are going around Big Bend, turn 1 and 2. Very, very technical part of the circuit. Really got to fight the understeer of this Porsche Cup car here. Round the corner, I'm not kidding, it's called left-hander, turn 3, and here we are, turn 4, right-hander. Then we head along the no-name straight, really imaginative corner names here at Lime Rock Park as we head through to this brutally quick right-hander. You've got to try and get the wheel straight as quick as you can before you rise over the crest there as they head up towards uphill and then on to the back straight and west bend. Down towards the final turn, downhill. It is over very, very quickly here at Lime Rock Park, which is great in the qualifying sense because you get a few goes at it, which is nice. And Amr Meshalam putting together a very clean and tidy lap there, and his fastest, I tell you what a show pony he is, 50.131, hops 10 places with his personal best. He must have known we had the camera on him then.
Absolutely, very clean lap from Amir. Drivers only get 3 laps, so we're going to have a long time to wait. Most of the drivers, as you can see on the left-hand side, they grayed out, which means they've already reset their car back to the pit lane. Their qualifying session is over, 4 minutes left to go. And for some of the drivers who are still out there, they might have started their qualifying laps late, but they are just out there for a little bit more practice. You've got to get used to these conditions because, as we mentioned earlier, very foggy here today. Once you come around this final corner here, you cannot see turn 1. So that's going to be very interesting for the drivers to try and manage that.
It will be, and I tell you what, it will really show up who's done the practice, because this is where, when the visibility is really poor, a little bit like when you're driving at night, is you're relying more on the muscle memory. You're going, okay, as long as I can see my braking marker, I'm okay, and then you know sort of a rough amount in your mind how long you're going to brake for, where you're going to turn in, etc. So those that know the circuit really well will really get an extra advantage here. So say Haggai Ferran getting in a few sneaky practice laps, and that's what you can do here, of course, on iRacing, although you're only, I think it's 3 laps count for the qualifying, but you can keep going around and get some practice in, which is always handy. But looks like everyone's decided to go and get ready and get themselves in the zone for the race.
Yeah, with 3 minutes left of qualifying. And we've got the championship standings just starting the second half of the season as the iRacing season switched over. It took a 3-week break and we're back for round number 7. Shalva Koteshvili currently leading with 236 points, and that is a very large gap to Oren Sade, currently sitting in second. I think it's around about, I would say, 50 points, 40 to 50 points there. Big gap. Amimesh Shlam is sitting in third with Madi Bakar in fourth, Haggai Farron in fifth with Ori Lahav, Alon Zeltzer, Michael Sherling, Dekel Nar and Nir Mizrahi in the top 10. Very close in the midfield there, you can see 129, 129, 128, 127 points. So 4 drivers separated by 2 points in the midfield from 9th to 12th. Yossi Gabai with his bright green car in 13th. We've got John Chico Galepstein, Assad Dekel, Michael Simon and Dor Malka, but incredibly close there, Peter, in midfield.
Absolutely, it definitely is. Yeah, so there's plenty to play for, and of course, here at Lime Rock Park, you just need to sneak off the circuit ever so slightly, and then the grass here it is just like ice. And one of the most typical mistakes here at Lime Rock Park is coming down into turn 1 and 2, Big Bend. If you just get a little bit too deep on the brakes, you can easily slip off on the outside of the corner, and then trying to get back on the circuit can just take forever on that slippery surface. So with the championship in mind, if you can just avoid those mistakes, you could grab a really big haul of points. As we see on the bottom right hand side of your screen, you'll see, thanks to our SDK graphics software, you'll see the track temperature on the bottom right hand side of your screen, which is 19 degrees centigrade, which isn't too bad considering the conditions. In fact, that is only a couple of degrees higher than it was at Knockhill yesterday. So actually, the track will be almost at its very optimum temperature for some quick lap times, hopefully. But we'll see. But of course, these 911 Cup cars, they don't have anti-lock braking systems and they don't have traction control. So for the drivers, they've really got to be careful in those opening lap or two here at Lime Rock Park to make sure those tyres are up to temperature before they push on.
And with the recent season update on iRacing, as they transitioned from Season 3 to Season 4, the Cup car did get updated. The tyres were updated. So we've got a car in the pit lane there, the 95. I believe that's Rom Itak. He's just sitting in the pit lane. He is the driver, along with a couple of others that are holding us up and making us wait the full 10 minutes of qualifying, which is about to end in about 10 seconds. We'll get the grid up on the screen. But these Cup cars, the tyres are now much more difficult to get up to temperature and much easier to overheat as well. So it will help the drivers not overheat their tyres with these cold track temperatures and air temperature, but it's going to make it more difficult to get the tyres up to their optimum operating temperature. On the first couple of laps, it's going to be very slidey, very slippery for these drivers. Let's get the starting grid up on the screen in just a moment's time then. A lot of the drivers already gridding up. We've got a standing start up ahead of us, but Shalva potentially points leader in the championship, and he is on pole position by a tenth of a second with a 49.6. Ruben Chachas fairly lines up alongside him, and Meshlam starts in third. Reem Gross is starting in fourth position, Haggai Farron in fifth, then John Chico in sixth. Michael Sherling leads row number 4 alongside Rom Itak, and then we've got Saad Dekel and Oren Sadi rounding out the top 10. 28 car field for this one, as the rest of the grid is on the screen, and we're just getting ready to go. A couple more drivers to line up on the grid. There is all the drivers on the radio chatting to each other at the start of the race, hoping for a clean one, as you can barely see the end of the field with all the fog all the way at the back there. If it was in the real world, you struggle to see the lights here, Peter.
Yeah, you would. You just kind of have to wait for the car in front of you to go and then just floor it, I guess. Of course, these 911 Cup cars do have launch control system, but they are quite tricky to use, but ready to go, Dane.
Absolutely, the lights are coming on. We have got 5 red lights, and we go green from Lime Rock Park for 36 laps of racing, and it's a good start from Shalva potentially up into the lead. It's a poor start from Chachasvili. Reem Gross going all the way around the outside. Did they make contact? Yes, they did. Gross into the grass on the outside, and has he got it slowed down in time, spinning the wheels to try and keep it out of that wall. He's done incredibly well there, but he's dropped all the way down to 26, the last position on the grid, or in the field there. Chachasvili making contact with him. Reem Gross, I think maybe just cut him off a little bit, but they went side by side through turn 1, and that did not go well for them. But Kuteshvili already with a 1.5 second lead as they come up over the crest once again. Oh, very loose for Chachasvili.
Yeah, coming over that crest, that's where the cold tyres are going to be really, really tricky, because if you don't have the wheel perfectly straight, you will spin off there, and that's going to be really a hot spot for action. Ron riding on board with Dekel Nar in the 49 machine, just trying to get those, just take his time, get those tyres up to temperature, but he goes to the inside line here. This is a good position to be in. Can he get the move done? He's behind the Lightning McQueen car of Dekel. I don't know if he's not actually running the 95, but there's a massive 95 on the side. Of course, the number of Lightning McQueen. Oh, and no, my apologies. Sardekel off He's in the AlphaTauri machine. My apologies, I've got myself mixed up there.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sardeco. That's one of the easiest places to run wide because you do want to run wide. At that corner, there's a double apex, turns 1 and 2. You want to get an early entrance to that corner, get an early apex, run all the way out wide, and then cut back in for the second part. Here is Nico Masrahi, also down a couple of places, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and there's Gil Epstein. Oh, not again. Once again, Gil Epstein losing his bonnet in this series. We've been unfortunately used to seeing it, but let's see what happens here. I think I know what's going to happen. He's going to get up over the curb and just over the crest, and that is a one-way ticket to that wall. Good job to keep it out of the racing line there. A couple of drivers having to make some avoiding action, but yeah, very unfortunate. Very easy to do. I think almost every single iRacing rookie in the road class has done that at some stage when learning the Lionbrook Park circuit. Obviously part of the base content on iRacing and used very heavily in the rookie series on iRacing. And Amin Meshalam currently sitting very nicely in 3rd position. That guy Farron in 4th, chasing him down. And here's Michael Sherling. He also wants to have a little bit of a look at this battle, this big train of cars, as potentially sets the fastest lap of the race as they start lap number 4.
Yep, we're riding on board with Michael Sherling. Oh, that's very close. Just maybe a tiny whisker of contact there. But yeah, just coming back to that, the little jump there at the end of the, or the kind of latter part of the lap, it's, like you say, I'm sure it's had some very high profile casualties there as well. And Marcus Gronholm, double World Rally Champion, he always used to say when jumping over the jumps there in his native Finland, you always had to have the wheel straight. That's the main thing. You see Michael Sherling shows that very well indeed. But here at Lime Rock Park, track position is so hard earned. You really have to rely on mistakes in front, or probably down into turn 1, big bend. That is your main opportunity to make a move stick.
Absolutely, not many long straights here and not many heavy braking zones either. This is probably the hardest braking zone of the lot, and it's still pretty fast corner, especially in these cars. Very difficult to make a move really stick. You've got to really send up the inside in and pray that your car doesn't drift out too wide, or we'll get contact like we saw on lap 1, turn 1. Here is Yossi Gabai, just ahead of John Chico. Used to having a bit of a scrap in the midfield, so there'll be a lot of back areas. There's always a scrap going on, especially when you get 26 cars on the field on this very, very short Lionbrook Park circuit. We're always going to get some battles going on, and Chico looking to the inside. I don't think that was a real look at a move. I think he was just making his presence known, trying to put off iRacing Israel liveried car ahead of him, and he's got a good exit now. He's going to look to the inside, side by side now as they cross the start-finish line to start lap number 6. He does go down to the inside. Is he going to be able to keep the car on the circuit? Yes, he is. Great move from John Chico up into 8th place. Yeah,
very well set up there from John Chico. Not too aggressive at all, but perfectly clinical and gets the move done. Well done. A perfect demonstration of how to get past there at turn 1. Of course, such a unique layout here at Lime Rock Park, but a wonderful place. It was the visionary of a man called Jim Vale was the visionary of Lime Rock Park, and interestingly, he went to the Cornell University and asked their aeronautical department to design the circuit for him, and I have to say, they've done a grand job.
Definitely one of the more loved circuits on the iRacing service. Got a makeover a couple of seasons back, at the beginning of the year, I believe. And we had a 10-year-old scan of it, very old, and they redid it for us. Now it looks as beautiful as any circuit on the iRacing service. Here's another little battle going on. Sardeco making his way back through the field down the inside of Shirt. Still side by side, just poking his nose in there. Almost contact made as they come around turn number 2. They're still side by side heading into turn 3, and he just about makes the move. Oh, and he's gone too wide. They're going to go side by side again, and now Manchuriano is having a look at this as well. Round the outside he goes as they come down towards the uphill corner.
Yeah, that was just shows you if you've got to get that move done. If you go for it into turn 1, you've got to get it done and get that move stuck quickly. because then if you don't, then you'll be compromised on the next turns. So as we see, I think that is Gross just cutting his way through the field after that early incident, and shows that just a tiny mistake really cost him, put him right to the back of the field, and he's going to spend all race long trying to get his way through. But 8 laps down of 36. Oh, Haggai Franz off. And like the Queen's off too. Oh no.
I don't think, I might eat my words, I don't think those were related incidents. I think they're separate. Yes, it looks like it's going to be. Haggai Farron, is he just going to lose it? Yes, he is. He's just lost the rear under braking and through turning, and just gets collected nowhere for iTac to go in the 95 Lightning McQueen car.
Catch out.
Very unfortunate.
Sorry, that's terrible.
He really had nowhere to go there. Oh, so close between these two. This is Dekel Nar looking at Michael Sherling ahead of him. No, it's not. Just looking at John Chico behind him. John Chico, they've made up a couple of places each at this part of the grid, and John Chico right on the rear bumper of Dekel Nar. And to come through turn 4 now. And this is going to be very close. Looking for 5th position. The last place on the top 5. Very, very close. The cars can follow each other very nicely. That's why we get such good racing in them. Also in the Porsche Esports Super Cup. Great racing in this car. Aero wash, not really a thing in these cars. You can follow the other cars closely as you really want to. And Chico is showing that now. He's got to get a good exit. Massive block from Dekel Nar, taking that inside line, saying, no, you're going around me if you're getting past. And they make contact.
Oh, that was all. Oh, that was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Chico wanted the inside line, but so did Dekel Nar. Yossi Gabai gets up into 5th after that, but they both went for the same bit of tarmac, both of them trying to squeeze each other, and like you said, Peter, that's always going to happen.
Yeah, Dekel Nar was, he was, you know, like you say, through a big block, but that was allowed. He did hold his line, he didn't weave back the way, he did maintain his line and broke in a straight line, and yeah, it just looked to me that Chico just swiped across his nose, and well, Chico paid the price there, and Dekel Nar able to carry on. I have to say, that is a wonderful alternative look on the standard Porsche factory livery with a nice blue and white, almost like a Scotland edition. I quite like that, I have to say.
Absolutely. The default Porsche livery just rebranded a little bit there.
Very nice.
It is very nice indeed. Yossi Gabai, though, probably myself and Adam Barth, commentators join me for most of the series so far. Definitely our favourite livery is Haggai Farron. His livery is pretty good as well. Michael Sherling's livery is awesome as well, but big moment once again for Chachashvili. Currently sitting in 2nd place, but that he has got Amir Meshalam right on his tail, and Michael Sherling just behind those two, and this is a definite battle for 2nd position, but Shalva sort of checked out already into turn 2 at this point.
Yeah, he's pulling away. Is Shalva doing what Shalva does? He's really, really quick driver, but Ruben Chachashvili doing a great job, and I tell you, the livery on his car, the number 42 machine, is a wonderful replica of the original GT3 RS, which came out about 2003, if I'm not mistaken, in the 996 iteration, and it was a proper homologation special race car designed so that they could run the car in GT racing in America, actually. So this part, there's a very tenuous link between Lime Rock Park and that particular livery.
About a third of the way through the race then. Shalva Kateshvili still leading the race. Chachashvili in 2nd, followed closely by Amir Meshalam and Michael Sherling. We've got Yossi Gabai just a little bit down the road. Starting lap 13 of 36, 10 minutes into this race. And we are nowhere near finished here, with this battle for 2nd evolving quite nicely. These 3 drivers scrapping it out. Meshalam and Sherling wanting to get past Chachashvili. I think they have the pace too, but Lime Rock Park, as we were talking about earlier, Peter, not the easiest place to overtake at.
No, you kind of got that one opportunity, and you've got to make sure that you set it up coming out of the final corner, the downhill, and get that all the way down towards Big Bend. But that is where you've almost got to get it set up actually coming out of West Bend, then downhill, and then get it moving into the, as we see Adrian Scher Just trying to get that is interesting. He was just back onto the track, but he still had his rear, a little piece of his rear tire still on the grass, and every little slight movement of the throttle here, and woof, he was round. Because of course, normally aspirated engine, 4 litre, nearly 500 horsepower on slick tires with no traction control is a recipe for big skids and often spins.
Especially with the grass on the outside there.
Absolutely.
Definitely getting onto that grass is a death sentence, and it looks like MMS numbers dropped back just a little bit, but he's got Michael Sherling right on the rear bumper as they head around the final corner now. Sherling's got to try and get a good exit. Oh, and he's a bit sideways out of that corner. Insane lateral grip there, but he's looking to the inside. Is that he's not close enough to make a move into turn number 1. Coming around turn 2 now as well. Really great sequence of corners. The whole first sector flows really well.
It does. It's an absolute joy to drive this track, and in fact, you know, it's obviously so compact and so tight and twisty. And actually, this is one of the back in the late 2000s. Porsche produced an incredible car called the RS Spider, which was actually an LMP2 car, but it comfortably beat the LMP1 Audis, which were dominant at the time. Comfortably beat them around here at Lime Rock Park because it just was so nimble around this tight and twisty layout. And in this car, it's actually a really nice combination, this car and this track, because it's so technical, and you've really got to control the car well and think your way around and not overdrive. It's a real challenge, actually.
Definitely. Remember back to week 14, as Adam Seltzer gets a little bit wide. That's going to allow Nikop Mizrahi. Is he going to have a look down the inside? He does go for it. The door is shut by Alon Zeltzer just ahead of him. And that's caused him to drop back a little bit. We've got smoke on the road, and I think that was from a bit of an earlier incident involving the Lightning McQueen car of Ron Itak in the 95. Yep, on the grass on the outside, nowhere. No way is that car going in a straight line. Oh, and on the grass on the outside on the exit as well. And if you can just make it out in the fog, oh, it's a big hit into the inside wall there.
Yeah, he's going to have to get some Rusty's bumper ointment on that car because it is looking very second-hand right now.
Bit of wheel spin getting going as well. AlphaTauri car passes him as he heads into turn number 1. Doesn't look like he hit that wall straight on. So it doesn't look like there's too much steering damage. He might be okay to carry on. And I think he is.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to give it a go there. As we see one of the, for our viewers who may be seeing that AlphaTauri liveried car flashing slightly, don't be alarmed. That is something that can happen in sim racing. We have this incredible technology where you have such an accurate simulator where the circuits are laser scanned and the cars are laser scanned to the finest detail. And then, you know, I'm sitting here in Scotland, and you know, these guys are you know, all over the place racing at home on their own simulators, all in real time. So you do get little drops in connection from time to time, and that little flash is sometimes when there's just a little bit of interruption in the driver's connection. Now, the driver in question there will not be. Oh, as we see the 49, oh, does well to miss him. Deckel Nar, wow, that was close. Wowee. But yes, you know, that the driver blinking won't really, you know, won't know that's going on. But to those around him, it can be quite distracting and quite annoying. I always liken it to snoring, Dane. It's like those that snore don't know that they're snoring. But it's very irritating to those around them, of course.
I've never heard that one before. Oh dear! Oh dear!
Oh God!
That's a familiar sight. Saw Deckel spinning around, and that's David Diag in the number 5 car, and that is really Sir in the 36 car. A 36 car flipping over cars, that's a bit close to home, but really Sir. And that's a big wreck. Let's see what happened here into turn number 1.
Yeah, that's just obviously the fastest point of the circuit on the brakes. And
dear.
What started off as quite an innocent, it was actually synchronized crashing there from the 5 and the 15.
Ooh.
And then whack. Yeah, that was a big one, wasn't it? Oh dear,
so
and really, yeah,
oh,
really, Sir's Porsche is really damaged. Sorry, another terrible.
Oh dear. But it looks like he just sort of lost control or was caught out by Yossi Gabai just ahead of him. Not Yossi Gabai. That was Decarnard just ahead of him. And Sardeckle ahead of him. I'm getting all of the names mixed up as he heads into the pit lane. The driver ahead of him, and he got a bit caught out, slammed on the brakes, driver behind him wasn't expecting that, just punted him, and then he was absolutely collected by the driver behind. That was a big shunt. There he does, takes his fast repair. Brand new car for him, and he'll head back onto the circuit in 21st position.
I love the fast repair. I think it's an excellent thing. It's brilliant. Just come in, car is mangled to bits, pop it in, and back out you go in a brand new car. I kind of wish I had that when I was 18, 19 years old, Dane, when I kept writing off cars. That would have been nice. A fast repair would have been brilliant.
Oh, the things that iRacing can provide.
Oh, yes.
Brilliant stuff. Here is the race leader then. We're not seeing him too much in the race. He's kind of checked out, done his own thing. He's got a very large gap, six and a bit seconds. Currently leading this race, doing his own thing, passing laps cars like there's no tomorrow. It's such a short circuit, you're going to pass cars very, very frequently. It's not a scratch on that Porsche GT3 Cup car.
No, definitely not. And actually, although the livery he's wearing on that car looks relatively plain, it's actually got some significance. That is a replica of the GT2 RS MR edition, and MR stands for Manthey Racing, who run Porsche's GT Le Mans cars, which we saw, of course, not having their best weekend at the Le Mans 24 hours a day or two ago. But yes, there is a special edition road car of the GT2 RS, the MR, which is that exact colour scheme. So that's obviously where Shelva's got the inspiration for that. Basic but beautiful paint scheme.
Definitely. Some drivers on the radio that I can hear. And it looks like Matty Bacar's gone into the pit lane. You can see on the left-hand side, drivers, as we're currently looking at the leader, drivers in blue are around about half a lap behind the leader. So they're actually closer to being overlapped, rather than be overtaking the leader. So that's a good chunk of the field that Shalva's quite a bit faster, and you can see where is Yossi Gabai just coming around the penultimate corner now as Shalva heads into the first corner and the second corner. So he's got quite a big gap, and he's already catching with his 14th position just ahead of him on the circuit.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and this is where real patience has to come in, because the lap traffic is going to be the thing is, it's going to be a factor for those behind him as well. And this is when if there's a move not on, when you've got this sort of gap, it's best not to push it. And you also have to be really on your game and have your wits about you, because it's very often you get a lap car who'll look in the mirror, see the leader coming up, get a fright, and sort of and get pushed into a mistake. So this is a really dangerous part of the race for Shalva now. Big lead, but he's just got to try and pick his way through patiently through the pack to get this race win done.
Oh, bit of a slide there. Great car control from him. I've done that many times, and what didn't look so graceful as it just did for Shalva there, definitely ended up in a wall or two in this car. Very tricky car to control, not meant for the customer drivers as we're used to seeing in GT3 cars and even GTE cars to a degree. This is definitely for the professional racing driver, these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars. And he's going to come around. That's already a lap. So quick is the lap here at Lime Rock Park, and we're starting lap number 25 of 36, 2/3 into the race.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's no time at all, and it's round. Of course, these the Carrera Cup here in the UK. Of course, the Carrera Cup's based all over the world using this very car. It's a very popular race car, both in the sim and in the real world. And Harry King, who's the kind of runaway leader of this year's Carrera Cup GB, if you're watching on-board footage of him, or to be honest, any of his competitors, in one of these things, it is absolutely frightening. I mean, they've got so much power. They're very lively things as well, and wow, it is just a joy to behold. I urge our viewers after the end of this broadcast, just type in onboard Harry King, or there's also another one of Josh Webster as well from Knockhill a few weeks ago, and my goodness me. The control and just the commitment required to get one of these things on the limit is mighty impressive.
Absolutely. Let's look then at the battle in the midfield. Nirkop Mizrahi, also with an iRacing Israel League inspired livery. One of the more eye-catching ones. It looks reminiscent of a beach with that colour scheme, with a couple of palm trees on the side of it as well. And that's our leader, Shalva Kateshvili, just behind him. You can spot through the fog, just over the crest, and he's coming around the final corner now. Nirkop is going to be starting lap number 26, and Shalva is going to be finishing it, but Nirkop has got a pretty good run on the driver ahead. That's Madi Bakar in the 277 car. These two are going to be fighting as Shalva comes through, so that's going to be pretty difficult for the leader to try and make his way past, especially with a tight circuit.
Yeah, this is where the headlight flasher might come into play. Of course, very popular in certain racing series. We just also on any of the UK's motorway network, you'll see people flashing their lights on another all the time. But yeah, Madi Bakar running the number 277 as Nirkop moves over very, very politely to the leader. Very good. That's the way to do it. Although it's not absolutely in the rules that you have to move over, it is always best practice. If there's a car come up to lap you, just let them go. It's so much better for everybody.
And it looks like Madi Bakar's got his own lapping to do. He's actually just overtaken Yehuda Ben Yosef. Oh, and there goes, that was Diag, I think, off the circuit. Just hopping onto the grass a little bit. And they're side by side now. This is Yehuda Ben Yosef and Nirkop Mizrahi. Battle for 12th and 13th. And Nirkop has to just slot in behind, up and over the jump. Normally we call it a crest, but here it is, most certainly a jump in these cars.
Oh yes, it is. There's no doubt about that. And they almost do a wheelie over there as well. Of course, with the engine at the back, the front goes light and woof, off it goes. But yeah, the number 10 of Ben Yosef, I have to say that is my favourite livery in the field. That Michelin livery, a throwback Michelin livery. That was my first ever Skilextric car. Had a wonderful. It was a Ford Escort Cosworth rally car with the Michelin Pilot livery on it, and that reminds me very much of it.
Well, it's looking very good from this onboard shot from Nirkop, and you can tell that he does have the pace to get past. It's just so difficult to make a move here. It's so easy to block here at Lime Rock Park that it's very difficult to make a move anywhere on the circuit other than that turn number 1 at Big Bend. And oh, is that Shalva off ahead? Yes, it is. Onto the grass. Does well to keep that out of the wall. Oh, and they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, and he's pushed off. He's going to hit the wall. Big hit into the wall for the leader, Shalva. And Chachashvili's going to go past. There he goes into the lead of the race. Shalva's going to be devastated from that. Chachashvili inherits the lead of the race. Shalva's dropped back to 3rd.
Oh dear.
No.
Oh, it's going from bad to worse. Oh dear.
Oh, is he going to hit that wall on the outside? No, he's in the grass. He's dropping down the order. Things have gone from bad to very much worse for Shalva and Derry into the pit lane, taking the tow. That is going to be a fairly long tow as well. Not happy on the radio. Let's see what happens here. He just runs wide. Off put by the car he was trying to lap onto the grass, and then here is where the big issue comes. Trying to go 3 wide, has to avoid Nirkop Mizrahi, who forces him wide a bit, and that's a huge impact into the wall. And there is Chachashvili, who inherits the lead of the race. And now let's see what happens to Nirkop into turn number 1, because we see him stranded here as he comes around turn 1, nowhere to go. Bit of contact, and into the wall, and he is taking the tow back to pit lane. He'll get a fast repair, but that's going to put him quite far down the order, unfortunately. Here's what happened to Nick Upton.
Yeah, it just looks like maybe just got a little bit hot on the brakes, possibly. Yeah, just
Oh.
rotates. That's one thing about these 911 Cup cars with the engine being in the rear. Oh dear, it's still. You know, with the engine being in the rear, no anti-lock brakes, a strange balance to the car. It just when you're on the brakes, it kind of just wants like the car wants to kind of rotate and smack you over the back of the head, and it's it kind of that was a perfect example of it there for near Cop as well, but. Yeah, that's a strange one. A bizarre mistake from Shalva, a completely unforced error. You know, he's made. Oh dear. Oh, that's. Oh goodness me, he's trying to do a Dane Bear JCB job there. Trying to. Who was that?
But Matty Bakar used as a ramp, as a launching pad for another driver. I didn't see exactly who it was. I think it might have been David Dyack, but that was definitely some air taken by one of the drivers as he collided head-on out of turn 1. Here is side-by-side for the 6th position. Oh, and Michael Simon, very loose on exit, manages to hold on to it. And he's now got Deco Nar for company as well. 6th, 7th, and 8th all running closely together. Oh, and who's that? That's Dor Malka.
Oh, Amir
Meshlam running in 3rd position. And now running in 4th as Yossi Gabai takes 3rd. Great showing from Yossi Gabai. Haven't seen him this far up the order. This is looking almost similar to the Italian Grand Prix from a couple of weeks ago. But let's see what happened to Amir.
He's already got steering damage there. I wonder if it maybe happened a little bit further. But yeah, he'd already had steering damage. Hit the curb, and then that curb is just like a pogo stick. It's awful. Ah, dearie me. Well, this has been an attritional race, hasn't it, Dane? It's, well, I mean, coming back to Shalva, just a strange unforced error, and that left him kind of out of position, really. And the lap cars coming through, there's not really anything they could have done, and he was just sort of wrong place, wrong time, and goodness me, it just went from bad to worse so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. In the space of 3 corners, off the circuit, losing time, off the circuit in the wall, losing positions, and then ending his race off the circuit in the next corner. One unforced error, one very unlucky racing incident, and then just collecting the stricken car of near Cop. Very unfortunate for him. Might give us a bit of a fight at the top of the championship standings though, with Chachishvili now in the 1st position with 2 laps to go as he crosses the line to start the penultimate lap of round number 7 of season 3 of the iRacing Israel League. Michael Sherling 2.5 seconds behind, getting on the radio there, telling the lap driver, let me past. Michael Sherling is quite a bit faster though, so there is the possibility that he could potentially catch up a little bit of that time. That is a very slow driving Porsche of the important trying to get out of everyone's way.
I think Shalva's retired.
I think he has.
Yes, he's decided to just park up and come back to fight another day. I can imagine he must be absolutely furious. Well, we said it, didn't we, Bairn? Didn't we, Dane, that you know, that was the most dangerous part of the race, those last 10 laps, getting through the big part of the traffic, and it really proved to be correct.
Yeah, definitely one of the more important parts of the race, especially on a short circuit like this. Traffic handling is the most important part, but Chachishvili is starting the final lap of the race. Michael Sherling just behind him. One mistake could cost him the win as he comes around the right-hander. Yossi Gabai starting the final lap in 3rd, and there is Oren Sade and Reem Gross going side by side into turn 1. Oh, so close to making contact. Reem Gross up into 4th position there, starting the final lap for all of these guys. Contact further behind, that's Michael Simon and Dekel Nar.
Oh, it's all happening here. Here's Ruben Chachishvili, takes the checkered flag then. What a great win from him. Keeps his car nice and clean and tidy. Sherling comes in 2nd. It looks like Yossi Dekel Nar got more problems there as well. But where is Gross going to finish? Because Remember, he was absolutely dead last after the first corner, but he's in 4th right now. And what a finish this would be, Dane.
Absolutely. As he comes around the final corner, it is going to be 4th for Ian Gross. Race winner in the series. Had the worst start possible and has made it to 4th position. Great drive from him. Also great drive from Yossi Gabai, finishing in 3rd. That is a very, very beaten up Porsche of John Chico in the number 3 car. Finished in 7th position. And most of the drivers finished now. In fact, all of the drivers finished now. We can watch the drivers. Oh, there's Dor Malka, who has finished the race. Just driving around the circuit.
I wonder if we'll get anyone doing any nice donuts. It's always like a post-race donut or a burnout. We had a great burnout from our Bathurst 250 winner, Brady Myers, on Saturday morning, Dane. It was, I mean, a proper smoky burnout. It was great.
Yeah, and he was also taken out whilst doing his burnout. The driver coming around the corner unexpected. I'm not expecting to see the burnout. But we've got the race results here on the screen, and Chacha's really managing to take the win here for round number 7 by 2 seconds ahead of Michael Sherling. Yossi Gabai finishes in 3rd position with Reem Gross in 4th. Very close finish between these drivers. Just in the latter part of the top 10, we've got Reem Gross 31 seconds, Oren Sali 32, Michael Simon a second behind them, and then we've got John Chico and Amim Eshalam finishing side by side over the line. Dekel Nar just behind them, and Hagai Farron rounding out the top 10. And then everyone outside the top 10 a lap down. Yehuda Ben Yosef with what I'm pretty sure is his best finish in the series. Alon Zeltzer finishing in 12th just behind. Saad Dekel in 13th, Mehdi Bekar in 14th, Moshe Pinchevsky finishing in 15th. Then we've got Toma Ventura, then we've got Gil Epstein and Nir Mizrahi rounding out the top 18. Already have finished in 19th with Rudy Sir in 20th. You've got Leon Portman, David Diag, Shalva Koteshvili, the first casualty of the race, 7 laps down, not finishing. Adan Sher also in that group of not finishing drivers from ITAC, Barak Monturiano and Dor Malka, who I don't think finished more than 2 laps of the race. Unfortunately, only 5 casualties in that race though. Fairly clean race, didn't see too many incidents, which is what we like to see. Another big grid in the iRacing Israel League, and a couple of the star drivers not showing up, unfortunately. Could have had a much closer race at the top. We've still got, I believe, 5 rounds left of the championship, following the official calendar for the most part. And it's going to be interesting to see every other week with a new circuit potentially. And we've got some beautiful shots of Lime Rock Park up on the screen. But Peter, that was a pretty interesting race.
Certainly was, yeah. I have to say, it was thought Shalva had it in the bag there. He looked like to be picking his way through the field, but just one tiny mistake was really severely punished. And that kind of tells you just a big story about Lime Rock Park. And of course, we had this incident where Gross was, maybe just nudged aside there slightly by the eventual race winner, Riven. So yeah, really interesting. We called that as well, just how easy it is to run wide there at turn 1 and 2, and Lime Rock proving to be as challenging as always for these drivers, but excellent racing up and down the field. And actually, we must also mention the conditions as well. This really foggy conditions make visibility very, very tricky. So good job to all the drivers managing their way through that.
Definitely, and we have got some drivers in the interview waiting area, so let's get them into the commentary box then. We'll start off with, of course, the race winner. We do have him in the interview room now. Raymond Chach, really welcome.
Hello guys, good evening. How are you?
We're not too bad. You must be pretty happy with that result. You had a solid drive with P2 for most of the race, but then near the end taking advantage of the mistake from Shalva.
Definitely, I had no chance with Shalva. Shalva he was so fast. He was so out of pace of the others. Like, I guess it's only luck, you know. I just tried to keep my pace. It wasn't as fast as the others, but I just tried to keep calm, to, just to just to get to the finish line. There were many accidents throughout the race, and I guess that's what led me. I'm not sure what happened to Shalva, but I guess it relates to some spin or accident. So yeah, I'm happy, definitely happy, but sad that it wasn't racing, but bad luck of others.
2 litres remaining.
Yeah, well, Shalva went uncharacteristically, just made a mistake all on his own out of the penultimate corner and got stuck with lap traffic 3 wide out of the final corner, which forced him slightly off track and it just dragged him into the wall, which was a massive impact that happened just in front of you, and you did well to avoid him as he rejoined the circuit. But winning the race eventually, that's going to do wonders for your points total and leading into the next round in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely. It was challenging, to see all the back tracks and back markers, and there were so many. Like it was so narrow. It always reminds me the racetracks in Israel. Everything is so narrow here. We have 3 tracks. 2 of them are so narrow, so it's the same nature of the Israel tracks. So yeah, it was pretty hard to keep the pace of the second place. Amir also pushed very hard from behind. Though yeah, I'm happy, to my first position. I'm willing to the next races. It definitely gives motivation to the next races.
Well, it must do wonders for your confidence as well. But talk us through the conditions. Very foggy here. It must have made it even more difficult than it otherwise should have been.
Yeah. We practiced a lot in this track. All of us, shared sessions or individual sessions, and most of their practices were in pretty clean condition. We all knew it was gonna be in the morning, and the weather should be pretty fine. So the weather was, the temperature was fine, but the fog was so awful. I didn't manage to see, to look far and to understand when the next corner gonna come, and all the back markers, you just need to guess if it's gonna come, and you need to be aware so much to the crew chief. Thanks to him, I was able to know where happens and what.
Acknowledged. No more deltas.
It was pretty challenging.
I can hear crew chief in the background there, talking to you. He's misunderstanding you as you're speaking to the interview. But Riven, thanks for joining us in the interview room. Congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to everybody, especially to Amir, the organizer, to you guys for making this race even more interesting than it is, and to everybody that participating in this race, of course.
Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck for 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, great to hear from the race winner there. And Peter, I believe you have got one Michael Sherling lined up for us for another interview.
I do indeed. We'll see if he can just come into the commentary box. There he goes. Michael Sherling, great run today. Tell us about your day at Lime Rock Park.
Hey guys, it was very good eventually. I was not so fast in qualifying, but in the race I had very good pace. Had good fight with Hagai, and then with Amir. Unfortunately, in one of my fake tries to overtake, I almost spun and hit the wall. So I had little bit damage. So from this moment, I was a little bit careful, but had some luck with cars crashing in front of me. So good result eventually.
Absolutely, it certainly was. And how did you find the foggy conditions? Of course, quite rare to see iRacing generate these kind of conditions. Tell us about how you handled it.
Fortunately, we had 2 hours practice before. So first half an hour in the practice, it was very, very difficult. So good we had this practice because it's the first time I drive like this. But I think it's actually a little bit nice. I don't know, when you get used to it. It feels like more realistic, the game.
like racing in Scotland, Michael. Now, before we let you go and enjoy your second place finish, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to live here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, sure. First of all, of course, to Amir, as always, to organizing everything, and to Shalva and Chagai for doing all the teaching and everything of the tracks, and of course for you guys for making it very interesting.
Well, thank you very much indeed. You guys make our job easy with such entertaining racing. Well done on your second place, Michael, and we'll see you next time out.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Well then, that was second place man Michael Sherling, and up next in the interviews is going to be Mr. Yossi Gabai, who we've never seen on the podium, I don't believe, but he's here now with us in the interview room. Yossi, welcome.
Yeah, hi, welcome. Hi.
Well, third place for you, you must be over the moon.
Wow. I don't have any words for this. Yeah. This is my best result since the beginning of this season, and I'm very pleased with it. I I don't know what to say actually. I got I earned from all the crashes that happened in front of me, and it just happened that I was kept alive for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, kept your nose clean throughout all the incidents, had some close racing through the early stages of the race, and then just as the drivers started spinning or making contact, you just picked those places off one by one, and ended up in third position. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations for
Yeah.
that. And you had a pretty close call quite a few times, all the incidents, and it's a tricky circuit there.
Yeah, I had a very tight battle with especially Dekel Nahar, which I was tracking him for a few laps, and then he tracked me for some other laps, and it was very close. And I almost lose my tail a few times on the first corner, but eventually I was able to get away with all the team, with all the races, and I just managed to keep in the middle. And then more and more people suddenly had accidents and crashes, and I was amazed. Yeah.
Still unable to believe it that you finished in third there. Still sounds, you sound still pretty surprised and pretty shocked with your great performance. That's going to do wonders for your battle in the midfield of the standings. It's very close there. We saw before the race, only a couple of points separating a lot of drivers, and that's going to do wonders for your championship battle as well.
Yeah, sure do. I very hope so. Yeah.
Well, next round in 2 weeks' time. How much time are you putting into practicing for these events? Because it's a pretty competitive league.
Yeah, I practice about 2 or 3 times a week, and I do some races. That's pretty it.
In the official Porsche iRacing Cup series, which this series mirrors in terms of schedule, which gives you guys some great practice with other cars on the track as well. And I believe you guys get coaching and throughout the week and setups as well. It's a fixed setup series, and the setups are made by Shalva, aren't they?
Yeah, Shalva do the setups, and usually Hagai do the training, and those trainings are very good because it helps everyone and to keep to know better the tracks, to understand the car better, and it's very helpful to progress.
It's a great series for sure, and we're getting these big grids up in the series as well. 27 here tonight, growing every single week. I cannot wait for the next round in 2 weeks' time. Yossi, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on the third place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just to everyone and to you guys. We're just having fun. It's great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Yossi. Congrats on the third place, and hopefully we'll speak to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Great to hear from Yossi goodbye there, Peter. And it's been a fantastic event today, with even despite the fog, which meant we couldn't really see too well, but it was still pretty impressive racing from you guys.
It certainly was, as always. I think this is now my third Moonlight appearance on the iRacing Israel League, and of course, this was the first ever sim racing series that I commentated on with you guys at Apex Racing TV, all the way back in, I think it was May at Road Atlanta, and that was an awful lot of fun. So great to be back again, and yes, more great racing. And I have to say, my driver of the day has to be Reem Gross, to go from all the way from the back of the pack through to, I think it was 4th position in the end. Very impressive indeed. He's got to be my driver of the day.
Worth mentioning that in the series they do give out points for the most positions gained throughout the race. And looking at the SDK Live timing of this race, I'm looking at Alon Zeltzer, who has got the most points. The top 4 drivers get 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. So Alon Zeltzer getting an extra 4 points to his name. Then it looks like it's Michael Simon and Moshe Benchevsky tied on 9 points. Yossi Gabai on 8 points, as well as Nemes Rai on 8 points. And then we've got Yehuda Ben Yosef on 7 positions gained in that race. So lots of moving around, lots of drivers moving up through the field. Only 2 drivers finishing where they started, which includes Reem Gross. Started in 4th, went all the way down to the end of the field. He should definitely get those 4 points for the most overtakes throughout the race, but I don't think he's going to get any because he ended up where he started.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you're quite a fan of these types of awards, aren't you, Dane? The poor qualifier award, aren't you? Or hard charger, as they're often referred to. I know you're on quite a crusade for one at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. It's the only one I can win. I'm never going to win races, especially not when I'm competing against Porsche Sport Super Cup drivers. I'm nowhere near that level, so we end up qualifying at the back or not qualifying at all and seeing how far I can get up through the field. It's a lot of fun doing that.
Master tactician, so you are.
Absolutely. Well, that pretty much wraps things up then for round number 7. Starting off the second half of the season in these Porsche Cup cars of Season 3 of the iRacing Israel League. I've been Dane Baird, joined by Peter Mackay with Samuli Kumo on the cameras and the production. Thank you all for watching, and want to wish you a good night and happy racing.